Hello! In this video, we will start a map from scratch. We will be using ArcGIS, and for this map, I'm gonna be using, first of all, a base map. I will be using the OpenStreetMap Standard Edition as a base map. And I will need my study area. I have that one here in my utilities folder, layers. I already have my study area. Remember, we always need 4 different files for a shape layer or a shape file. And we only need to drag this one, the SHP file, to our project. And as you can see, I am looking at the whole world. And if I click on Zoom to Layer with my current layer on, it will take me to my study area. I will change how the fill of this shape looks. I will just open with my brush here. I will change the simple fill. Let me do this a little bigger here. And I will leave this as a transparent fill. And I'm gonna make the outline red. And I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker. I think that's pretty much it. So we want to make 4 different maps for elderly people, for children under 12 years old, for women, or for people with disabilities. So for that, we're gonna be using our CINCE layer. I have that here, CINCE. Remember, CINCE is the Sistema para la Consulta de Información Censal from INEGI. We have been working on our 2020 census. And obviously I have a lot here, but we are using the Mexico City data. And here inside the cartography folder, we are gonna be using the manzanas. Those are the blocks. Again, as you can see, we would need these 4 files for our layer to work. And I only need to drag the manzana file, the manzana shape file here. And those are my blocks, as you can see. Those are my blocks. I want to keep just the blocks for my area of study, so just the ones that come in here. So what I will have to do is go to vector or vectorial. I don't know if you have it in Spanish, it's vectorial. If you have it in English, it's vector. And I will need the geoprocessing tools, herramientas de geoproceso, and cortar or clip. This window pops up, and the way this works is I choose the entry layer. In this case, the layer I want to cut the blocks or the objects from. In this case is manzana. And I will be using my area of study to cut them. I want everything that's inside to be cut. I will leave it as a temporary file, as a temporary shape. I will save that later. And I'm just gonna click on run, ejecutar, run. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, it was pretty fast. And now I have my blocks. The ones that are inside my area are in this orange color and in this violet purple color, all of the others. Now I can erase or delete this layer from my project. I don't need it anymore. just taking up memory from my computer. And this is what I will be working with. So remember, if you see this icon here, it means that it is a temporary layer. As you can see, a message pops up and it says it's a temporary layer file. This means that if I close my computer, if I turn it off, if I log out or whatever happens, and I haven't saved that yet, I will lose any information I've been working on with that. So please remember to save it. So I will just click on that and I will save it. I will be using a shape file as an SD shape file. Remember, there are other good files like GeoJSON, GeoPackage also, but we are gonna be working on S3 shapefile, and I will be saving this here in my utilities folder. I have my layers, and I will name it something like area 27. I will name it blocks. And I will click in OK. And as you can see, now it's been saved. Capa guardada. I don't need this message. I can close it. It would close by its own, but it's okay. And so, if we look into the table, the attributes table, the tabla de atributos, we can see that we have each block here. All of the blocks are all of these ones here. They all have this key, clave geostatística CDGO. That's a key number for each block. And I have a lot of variables from pop1 until here, until pop 124. For all of this, I think you can see that there's a whole number like pop 121 and then another variable with an R after that. So if we want to know what all of those mean, in the folder where let me close this one. In the folder where we downloaded our Cince, we have Cartografía, that folder, and we have Descriptores folder. So those have the descriptions of what all of those variables mean. So if you open, for example, this file here, description, it's asking me just the language I want to be using. I can see, for example, that pop1 means población total, the whole population, and then I have all the ranges for the whole population from ages 0 to 2 and so on, so on. And so, for example, if I want to see the children under 12 years old, well, the one that I need, it's under, right? So I would need maybe all of these ones here, no? From 6 to 11 or some of these, no? And for example, if I want elderly people above 65, that would be this one here, no? And if I want to see all women, that's this one here. And I will come to the people with disabilities later. So let's start by the first one, no? Elderly people from 65 years and above. So I will leave this open, just minimize there to have it. And back to my QGIS, I will open my brush here. And instead of using, we've done this already, instead of using símbolo único or single symbol, I will go to categorized, categorizado. And for value, here in valor, value, I will use, and if you don't remember which one it was, I want to be using pop 24, which is the population of people above 65 years, no? So this one. So I will choose that one. Pop 24. It's here. And I won't be using random colors anymore. I will be using some scales, some color scales. So this will depend on how you want to build your whole presentation. But for example, let's start with, I like Viridis a lot, but let's start with spectral. And I will click on classify. And as you can see, it gives me all the different ages that each block has. No? So if I want to keep this like shorter, I will, instead of using categorized, I will be using graduado. So with graduado, I can click on classify. I'm using cuantiles, conteos iguales, equal counts. And there it is. I can see where the most people with 65 years or older are living. It would be best maybe for this representation to click on this I change this on this arrow here. Let me go back to spectral to click on this arrow here and click on invert color ramp. So now I can see the ones with red is where the most people that are 65 years old or older are living, and the blocks where the younger people are living. No? So maybe this one here, for example. So this could be a full map already. So I'm gonna change its name here, right clicking on the name of the layer, and I'm going to cambiar nombre de la capa or change, I think it's rename layer. And I'm gonna put that note 60, 65, why? Or let's try it completely, 65 years. Let me see how it, elderly people 65 plus. Let's put it just like that. So I can change, rename it to elderly people 65 plus. Let's just leave it like that. So we've done this already with our streets, but now we're doing it with our blocks. So this is how I can start building all of my maps. So for example, if I want to do the women now, I will right click on the layer that I just did, and I will click on duplicate layer, duplicar capa. And as you can see, I have a new layer now. I will turn this one off and turn this one on. It's just the same, but I will rename it to women. And again, if we don't remember which one it was, I can look into my descriptions. It's this one, población femenina, female population or women, pop 42. And I will go back here and use pop 42. And I will click on classify again. And I'm using the same color ramp. And as you can see, well, it looks pretty much the same. So I could change the colors. And I could also change the way I'm statistically cutting each stage or each value. So for the last one, we used equal counts, conteos iguales, cuantiles. We can use, for example, intervalos iguales. And what this one's doing, the other one was counting this, was looking to have the same number of blocks for each stage, no, for each value. This one is trying to have the same distance between the values. No? So as you can see, this changes a lot how it looks. And we can use also, well, pretty breaks. It tries to close the numbers. And natural breaks, rupturas naturales. What this one does, it tries to look where the most logical clipping of the, or statistically clipping of the values should be. So this one works way better, for example, than, for example, quantiles, no? So let's leave this in rupturas naturales. And as you can see, this block here has the most women. I will be using another layer for another color ramp for this. Let's use viridis. I like viridis a lot. So now in yellow, I have the blocks with most women, and here with this purple, dark purple, the blocks with less women. And as you can see, I can change from elderly to women. I have both layers there. Okay, so I think we can now jump to people with disabilities, because this one's a little different. This one's a little trickier. If you look into, I'm going back to my QGIS, and if I open the attributes table, and if you remember, this one goes all the way up to POP 124, and I still will show you what the R means. But if I want to have people with disabilities, and if I look into my table, my description table, and I search for disabilities, it's somewhere here. So population with some disability is this layer, is this value here, this one, and I don't have that. Well, I don't have that in my table, but I do have them downloaded here inside my CINCE for Mexico City. We have been working with cartografías, no, with this folder. I already showed you descriptores has the description, and we have this other here, tablas. And tablas, I know this may look a little complicated. As you can see, we have estatal, we have localidades, we have a lot of layers or of tables. All of these correspond to what we have in cartografías. Estatal, ¿no? Ejes viales, estatal, localidades. So, and we are working with manzanas. So, in tablas, I should have manzanas, it's here. And for manzanas, I have características económicas, discapacidad, educación, and so on, and so on, and so on. So what I'm looking for is discapacidad, remember? So I will use this table. As you can see, it's a DBF. And if you remember our cartografía for manzanas, for a layer to work, it needs these 4 files. One of them is a DBF. DBF is the database file. So the DBF is actually our attributes table. This one here. So what I'm gonna do is just go to my tablas folder. I'm going to look for manzanas discapacidad, and I'm going to drag and drop this to my QGIS, just like that. And as you can see, I have this one here. We've already done this with other kind of tables. I have this table here. Close this one. And if I open the attributes table for the table, this is for the whole Mexico City. But now I have this one, no, discapacitados, which is the whole population for this for any discapacidad. So any disability, which is what we want. Okay, so what I have to do is, again, I'm gonna duplicate my layer, right click on that one, duplicate layer, is this one here, the one is turned off. I will turn it on and change its name, rename it here, and I will be using exactly the same description here. So rename, and it's people with disabilities. So what I have to do is I have to join this table to this layer here, and that's very easy. We've done this. I'm gonna double click on this layer so I can open the properties. You can also right click on that one and click in properties, click on properties. And I'm gonna be using, so if I open this, unions is this icon here, uniones, unions, joins, I think it's joins, the QGIS translation. And I'm gonna make a new join here. And remember, I am on the blocks layer, so I want to join the disabilities layer. And if you remember, we have a clave geostatística, that's the key that I was telling you about, that each block has its own key. So I want to be using the key for the manzanas in the disabilities layer or the disabilities table. I want to join that to the key, the geostatistical key, the clave geostadística of the manzanas of the blocks. So they both are called the same, are named the same, CVGO. And I want to join this one here. This one, remember this one means here, this población con discapacidad, no? Population with disabilities. So that's pretty much it. I will go here in prefix. I will, if I leave it like that, it will add this whole prefix, this very long prefix to my variable, and I don't want that. I want it just to be this one. So I will click on that one, and I will erase this. I will add both this one and this underscore R, so I can show you both. And I will click on OK, and that's it. My layer is joined, or my table is joined to my layer. I will click. I just click on OK, but I always advise to click on apply and then click on OK, because sometimes, just sometimes, it needs that to fulfill the process. It's not very common, but sometimes happens. So with in my layer, people with disabilities, with just these blocks here, I can open now my attributes table just to check. And after all my pop ones, as you can see now, I have this one and this one are. And so what this means, this one is the total population. So for example, in this block here, in my third block, I have 23 people with disabilities. And this one underscore R, it says 4.3. That's a percentage. So that means 4% of the whole block have a disability. So 4% here. If I have a negative number, that means there was no answer for that block. It doesn't mean negative population. We can't have negative population. It just means no one answered that question in the census. So that's pretty much it about the explanation. I can again open my brush here, and let's use maybe magma now. So I will be using magma for people with disabilities. Maybe again I can invert my ramp, and I will change. So I'm still looking at pop 24. I will be using, oh yeah, I will be using this disabilities. I'm gonna be using natural breaks. And it's kind of obvious, as you can see, that this block here has, we've seen that this block here has more women, has more elderly people, and has more people with disability. What that means is that this block has more people, no? So this one has or a high density of population. So for example, to avoid that is when you can use the underscore r variable. And I will click again on classify. And as you can see, that changes a lot. The actual block with higher percentage of people with disabilities is this one here. See, this one's here. And this one, it does have a high percent, like 5%, but not as high as this one, no? And it's not that high either, it's 6.8, but it's something that one needs to keep track of. And so that's pretty much it about creating our layers or configuring our layers. As you can see, we have an outline, a black outline for all of our blocks. I usually recommend, right now it's not a problem, it's not a big problem, but when you have a lot of blocks and you are on a higher scale, sometimes you can't see the fill color because of the outlines. So what I usually recommend is that you change the outline to transparent. And to do that, for example, let's do it here on people with disabilities. I will click on in my case, the orange here in symbol. I will click on the color. In my case, it's orange. And by clicking here, it will take me to the configuration of all the values. So of all of these values, if I click on this one, I can change the general configuration. So I can go to simple fill. And here in mark color, I will change that here, clicking on the arrow here to and a transparent outline. And as you can see now, it changed here. I can do that for all of them. So again here, on this one, simple fill, transparent outline. And I don't know if you see, it actually shows the colors, the fill colors better than, for example, like this. And I will change this one too. Transparent fill. That's it. So if I want to export this and build properly configured maps, we've done this in class. Let's go to project. And if I already have a layout, a composition, a layout, I will find it here. But it's if this I'm starting a map from scratch. And by the way, this would be a good time to save it. So I will save it here. Name it maps. So I'm gonna go to project and I'm gonna do a new layout, new composition layout. I'm gonna name this demographics. Let's put demographics. And we've gone through this. I'm gonna make this a 365 millimeters by 200 millimeters. So that's 36 centimeters by 20 centimeters. And I'm gonna create a new map with this one here. Let's say it's this one here. And I'm gonna change its scale. Let's say this one looks maybe 5,500, 1 to 500. Yeah, I think that one looks looks okay. I'm gonna add an arrow for the north. So this one here, and I like this one. And I can change the feel for that one. So maybe I can change it to black. And I want to add, well, I will add a scale bar and I will configure it later. Let's add it right now here. And I will add also the legend here. So for the legend, let's start with that. It auto update here, that's important. And I will put only show items inside link map. So if right now I'm looking only at women, I only want here women. So as you can see, that's what we are looking at. And please remember, if your map already looks the way you want it to look, block your layers, just like that. So I was telling you, we can change this one here. It's in meters, that's pretty good like that. We can add more breaks to the scale. For example, right now I have only 2. I can change this to 3, for example. I think that still looks good. I can change, for example, right now it's in recuadro simple. I can do it like this to change the way it looks. There are more simple, like this one here. For example, this one here. I will use this one here. So maybe I will have to do this a little smaller. And as you can see, because I did this one a little smaller, my scale changed, so I will have to go back here and change it. So that's it. But it still fits, so it's okay. And I will move this a little here, so it fits inside the. Okay. And for example, if I put this above my map, it shows a background. That's why I have it here. But if you want to change the background, you can do that too. So here you have fondo, background. You can change the background to nothing. So with that, you can have your legend above the map, for example. I don't know if you want to do that, but you can do that. And I will change the north here. And you can add a lot of text or images to your map. So if you want to add the tech logo, you can add it using an image, or you can add your name, like using some text here. So I can add, for example, some text like GEOMATICS, then so that's just to write something on that one, and so on. You can configure the text the way you want. And for example, if I want to know that, so I do know that this one is a scale 1 to 5,500, but if I want to add that here to the scale bar, and I want that to be automatically updated, I will add a new scale. So I'm going to here use the scale. I'm gonna add it here. And this new scale, instead of recuadro, I will leave it as numérico, as number. And as you can see, numérico gives me the actual scale my map is in. No? So I can change this to, I can change it. Let me, maybe just here, No, I think maybe just margen. No, I think that's maybe make it bigger with a font. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay. But as you can see, you can change anything you want here. No? Maybe you can change the type of font you're using. But remember to match your fonts to your board that you are for your evidence. And yeah, so if this is the way I want my maps to look, I can add more pages. So I will add 2 more pages at the end of my map, and I want them to be the same size. So that was this size here. Click on OK. And right now I can select everything I have here. I can copy it with Control Copy, or I can go to Edit, Copy, and I can just paste it. I will use paste in place, and I will drag it down to my other paper, and again paste in place and drag it down to my other layout, to my other paper, and I will unblock this one. Let's bloquear capas. I will unblock that one. I will go to my QGIS, turn women off, turn, say, elderly people on, and I will go back here. I will refresh this here, and you see it automatically changed both the legend and the map. And I will block this one here, and I'll go to this one here, unblock it, immediately change, but I will change this one to people with disabilities. So that one, we'll go back here, and I will update it, and that's it. And I will block it again, and that's pretty much it. I have 3 different maps, women, this was elderly people, right? And this is people with, well, population with disabilities. So that's pretty much it. I can now go to, well, I will save it again. And I can export this using this one here, this icon here. I will leave it here, demographics, click on save. Let me open this a little here. So if I want to be able to change something with another program, with Adobe Illustrator, for example, I can change this to keep the vector lines editable. And I will remove the georeference and the metadata, but you can leave it on. And that's pretty much it. I will click on save. And my composition, my layout has been saved, has been exported. I can do that also as images, for example. If I want to build my my presentation board, I can do this in a PNG format, for example. So just save that one. 300 is a high resolution format, but it's it's a good one to print. So I will leave that one, and I'm gonna click on save. This might take a little longer, but not that much. So that's pretty much it. If I go to my folder, as you can see, I have a PDF, and that PDF, I'm gonna open it. I have my 3 files, or my 3 maps, but I have 3 different PNGs. So this demographic, I will change its name to _1. So I have my 3 different maps here, which I can, and as you can see, that they have very good resolution. Can make it very, very big. Well, maybe that's where it starts to show a little pixels, but it has a very good resolution. So you can print this very easy, adding it to your board. And before I close everything, I'm gonna check that all my layers are saved, that they are not temporary layers, and I will click on save. And that's pretty much it. I hope this video helps you for your works. And thank you. Bye bye.